conveyed to us by our five senses. The world we know of consists of what our eyes see, our ears hear, our noses smell, our tongues taste, and our hands feel. Man is dependent on only those five senses since birth. That is why he knows the external world only the way it is presented by these senses. Yet, scientific research carried out on our senses has revealed very different facts about what we call external world. And these facts have brought to light a very important secret about matter, which makes up the external world. Contemporary thinker Frederick Vester explains the point that science has reached on this subject. Statements of some scientists posing that man is an image, everything experienced is temporary and deceptive, and this universe is a shadow, seems to be proven by science in our day. In order to better grasp this secret behind matter, let us be reminded of our information about our sense of sight, which provides us with the most extensive information about the external world.
The longer a person watches television, the more easily the brain slips into alpha level, a slow, steady brainwave pattern in which the mind is in its most receptive mode. Images and suggestions are implanted directly into the mind without viewer participation. An effective hypnosis is induced, and the viewer surrenders to the unending television image stream. Images of television violence stimulate the fight-or-flight instinct. But since it would be absurd to react to television violence, the viewer suppresses the emotion. Viewers are drawn back and forth on cycles of impulse and suppression. When the set goes off, this stored-up energy bursts forth in frantic behavior commonly associated with childhood hyperactivity. Television imagery is jammed together in a steady stream of information, fracturing your attention while condensing and accelerating time. These events would not happen in ordinary life. They are technical alterations only possible within the moving image media. Living in the rapid world of television imagery, ordinary life is dull by comparison, and often far too slow. People who immersed in the surrogate reality of television life deal on a daily basis with a reality totally unlike any that has preceded it. The image stream is a steady, mixed-up stream of real, unreal, and semi-real events. All of these events end up merging with each other and becoming just another set of stored imagery that have all similar reality values.
The television screen is the retina of the mind's eye. Therefore, the television screen is part of the physical structure of the brain. Therefore, whatever appears on the television screen emerges as raw experience for those who watch it.
We are all influenced by unseen forces without our conscious awareness. In fact, the ultimate control is to control people without their conscious awareness. Again, television is a prime example.
So how does corporate television work? Corporate TV is a business, and like any business, there are three main components. There's a buyer, a seller, and a product. So who are the buyer and seller, and what is the product? Somehow people have gotten confused to think that the television corporations are the sellers, the TV shows are the product, and the audience at home is the buyer. But this isn't quite right. When you sit down to watch a sitcom or football game on TV, The network you're watching isn't making their money from you. Even if you pay for cable, the real money comes from the commercials. People in the media industry will tell you that their business is selling audiences to advertisers. So it's true that the television corporations are the sellers, but the buyers are advertisers, and the product that they're buying is you. It's not just broadcast television. The same is true for radio, newspapers, magazines, even the internet. Because the companies that run those services make the vast majority of their money by selling your eyeballs to advertisers.
Promotions must be sold to the public. Yes, it really pays to advertise.
There's nothing inherently evil about this model, but it does have some major structural flaws that can have a huge negative effect on our world. To examine this, let's suppose you own a newspaper in this part of Denver. It includes Lodo, where the average household income is $100,000 per year, and 5 Points, where the average household income is $35,000 per year. Like most media institutions, you get the vast majority of your income from the sale of advertisements. You start out printing stories that appeal to people in both neighborhoods, but your advertisers would rather you tailor your content to draw readers in Lodo, where the amount of disposable income is magnitudes larger than that of 5 Points. Even if your editor is a good, honest person who cares about both neighborhoods, and even if the advertisers don't directly request that you favor stories about Lodo over those about 5 Points, that is probably what will happen. The readers your advertisers want to reach are those in Lodo, so you print more stories and articles that Lodo readers are interested in, and as a result, the people in 5 Points start to recognize that your paper doesn't reflect their concerns. This is what happens on a larger scale in Denver and across the nation. The same is true for television. All forms of corporate media following this advertising model end up favoring the concerns of communities with money and neglecting the concerns of those without.
There are many more professionals using strategies of influence than there are psychologists studying them. Their goal is very simple. They want us to say, yes, yes, I want it. Yes, I need it. Yes, I want to be the right kind of person. Yes, I'll buy it.
This is the place, Jordan Marsh.
Psychologist Robert Cialdini of Arizona State University spent 3 years examining the universal principles and tactics of these influence professionals from the inside. As a sales trainee, fundraiser, and advertising copywriter.
One of the universal principles I found is the principle of reciprocation, which suggests that we are obligated to give back to others the form of behavior that they have given to us. So if someone does us a favor, we're significantly more likely to say yes when they ask for a favor in return. That's why the Hare Krishna, for example, society in the airport will come up to you and give you something before they ask for a donation. It can be a flower, a book, whatever.
And this bottle will be produced only 2 or 3 times a decade.
A second principle that we can talk about is the principle of scarcity. The idea that things that are rare, that are scarce, that are diminishing in their availability to us are more attractive. We want them more. As a consequence, many merchandisers will use strategies in which they'll give us time deadlines or availability limits on a product they want to sell, and because we can't have it after a certain time, we want it more and we go out and buy it. Another principle we can talk about is the principle of authority. This is the idea that we're much more willing to follow the lead